Sega.
And welcome everyone, this is Jeff Baller, and today I'm going to be showing you guys yet another game out of my ever-increasing Sonic game collection. This time around, I'm going to be showing you guys Sonic Rivals for the, not Sony, no, yes Sony PSP, I'm sorry, I almost said Nintendo PSP. This game was one of 3 games that came out during 2006, Sonic's 15th anniversary. The others, of course, are Sonic 06, a game which everyone's pandered to hate and despise, even though Chronicles is a lot worse. And Sonic Riders, which is basically, out of all the 3 games, is kind of the best game, really. It's not the best game, but out of the 3, it's like the better choice. Now, the current story right now basically is Eggman, somehow, as we're about to see in a few seconds, has acquired a special camera. I don't know how, I don't know why, maybe he made it, I don't know. But a special camera that when you take a picture of something, it turns that something into a card. And his plan here, for some reason, is to use such a camera to create the ultimate card collection. So, I guess, ruling the earth is not an option anymore? Does not want to do that? Does he just want to collect things? I mean, to be fair, you could really use that camera to, wreak some proper havoc. I mean, hold important places of interest, hostage and such. That'd be perfect. Yeah, you could use it as bait or bait. No, not bait. What's the word? A bargaining tool. That'd be perfect. But nah, all about card collection. I'm pretty sure that's all he wants to do with it. Now, to talk a bit about the actual game itself, the gameplay and such. Basically, this game plays like a regular 2D Sonic game. 2.5D Sonic game. But the one difference is, you're going fast, and someone's, also going fast with you. You're basically playing a multiplayer. This is basically you're playing a multiplayer game with the AI. And that's the game. This game also does have multiplayer, but, story mode is just this. 4 times. Yeah, this playthrough times 4. That's basically what it is. It's also basically how I'm doing the playthrough. So, to make it so it's not so boring, it's not me talking over 6 levels of Sonic just running back and forth here and there, racing different people, with a very, barely any story, I invited a few of my friends to join me. So we're gonna go through Sonic's story, then Knuckles, then Shadow, then Silver finally. And of course, since we have multiple characters, the story's gonna be, I guess, expanding. We're gonna be seeing more secrets, we're gonna seeing more reveals, what the hidden backstory of what the camera is, why this whole thing is going down, so on and so forth, stuff like that. But for the moment, for Sonic's story, like how I'm doing Sonic Heroes, like how I did Sonic Heroes, I should say, it's just gonna be me rambling on about the first story, saying my thoughts and opinions about the first section, and everything else is just gonna be attempting to talk over more story. I mean, like I said before, this is basically gonna be this playthrough times 4. And while the level design is, nice to look at, it's not exactly varied or interesting in a grand sense. Because, I mean, this game is just basically a racing game, and in racing games, you don't really have that much of a variety in level design. Or level structure, I should say. Design has to look lovely. The structure, can be debatable. And of course, every time you beat a level, you get graded on such, in the average Sonic grading scale. Honestly myself, in Sonic Rivals 1, I haven't seen a grade lower than B. So I don't know if it exists. I'm gonna assume it exists, but I've never seen it. All I've gotten so far is S's. Now, the actual physics of the game isn't really the best, you could say. Spin dashing while moving slows you down quite a bit. Your top speed is really slow, but you do have your homing attack, which is functional. And we also have another move called, I believe, jousting or jostling. I'm gonna call it rushing, because that's what it looks like. Basically, when you're rushing an opponent or an enemy, or whichever the two, you basically knock them out the way. It's like a ground homing attack. It's just a ground attack that knocks out whatever's in your way. But if you don't like getting very physical with your opponent, we also have the Racing No Standard, the different items. In this game, we have a multitude of items that will be shown off throughout the level. They're not all they're not really all unlocked in the very beginning level. They're like slowly show the items to you throughout the course of the game. Of course, we have the fire weapon, we have the ice, we're going to be seeing the electric, we're going to see wind, we're going to see, how you could say, bomb, illusion, I'm just going to call it, which is basically the smoke screen in the game. And was there another one? Did I say lightning? Lightning, yeah. And the way these weapons are actually used, they're not really used in the traditional sense. Since we're in a 2D plane, the way the weapon works is actually dependent on your placement in the level. As in where you are depending on where the rival is. So if you're in front of the rival, you're going to be using the item more defensively. Like for the ice trap, you just place down a giant block of ice that freezes the enemy, and for some reason, sometimes, if the enemy freezes at a certain, ramp, they quickly accelerate and go faster than the base speed, which is pretty bad. If you have the fire item, you quickly equip a fire shield, which blocks a lot of damage. Now, for those of you wondering what the hell's the random, explosions here and there, basically those are the special moves. The star item, which I have right now, is dependent on what character you're using. So in Sonic's case, basically he goes really fast, breaking the sound barrier and such. Knuckles does his knuckle slam, or hard knuckle, whatever you call it, smacking the ground and stunning the opponent. Shadow does his ever-famous Chaos Control, which slows down the opponent. And Silver has his ESP. I'll talk about that later because we're about to see Silver out this boss fight, so you know. Spoiler alert. Silver's in the game. If the loading screen didn't tell you otherwise. And up to the races! Okay, we got Eggman, so we're gonna get cards, right? Oh, what contest? Are we gonna duel? Is it time to duel? I think it's time to duel. Please tell me it's time to duel. I got my Exodia card right up my sleeve. I'm ready to play. This is not the duel I was expecting. I was not expecting to fight an egg turtle. I was expecting to duel. Is it egg turtle a card? Can it be a card? That's not a card. That's not a card at all. That's a turtle. That's a robotic turtle. With a very 2D Eggman inside. Okay, so, quick rundown how the bosses work. Basically, it's races, but you're attacking a boss. Done. Now, a bit more explanation. Basically, how the bosses work is, you are indeed competing against a rival, which is very silly, and whoever hits the boss 6 times, wins. The bosses don't really have a health bar, it's just dependent on whoever hits them 6 times. So if you hit him 6 times, you win. If the rival hits it 6 times, you lose. It's not like if Knuckles gets 3 and I get 3, he just dies and we get a tie. It doesn't work. There's no ties in this game. It's either win or lose. That's how this game works. This boss, however, is very basic since it's the first one. Basically, you can just homing attack and jump on his head. You can hit the tail to make like a shockwave go out, which can potentially hit your rival. Or in many cases in this playthrough, me. And that's kind of it for this boss battle. All the boss battles in this game aren't really that difficult. And since rings are so plentiful in this game, getting hit isn't really a punishment. I mean, you can easily replenish anything you get. Because I believe you only take 10 rings of damage. That's it. So, yeah. S-ranking these things aren't really that bad. Or that hard, I should say. And of course, another S rank. Mission accomplished. I love how we get the turtle card. How appropriate. You ain't gonna get me with a little robot like that. I kind of broke it. Oh, look! It's Silver! Silver, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the future! Oh, Silver, you and your games. Also note that Silver does not know Sonic. So, this next section, I'm gonna spoil a bit of 06. So if you want to play 06, or watch cutscenes of 06, you might want to skip this, the first few minutes, at least. I'm not gonna ramble on that much. So to basically give a little summary of the end of 06. Basically, time was rewritten. So basically, no one remembers the events of 06. 06 never happened. And yeah, Silver's future remains, I guess it's better now. It got better. Everyone saw in the end of 06, everything got better. Flames and disaster are gone, everything's good. But the thing about Silver, never explained why he's here. Tell a lie, he is explained. I should actually say, it's never explained how he's here. He's just here. After 06, every time Silver is like in a plot, like a main story, oh not main story, it's not main story in the slightest, like in a story game where it's like, it's not in a minigame, he's like there as part of the story, it's never explained how he's there. It's explained why he's here. Like here, he's trying to talk your Eggman for reasons. Can't really say anything because that'll be spoilers, and you gotta watch the Silver playthrough of this part to find out. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But in Colors, I can say, because that's not really a spoiler, and probably no one really cares about DS Colors. Probably a lot of people care about it, but you know, it's a very minor thing, so it's not really spoilerish. But in there, basically, his future's great. There's no reason to come back. He basically came back, basically, how I like to summarize it always, he came back from the future to the past to ride Eggman's Interstellar Amusement Park's bitching theme park. Just go on a roller coaster, see the sights, eat giant candy bars in Sweet Mountain. Why would you even go back? The future's apparently great, full of smiling people, yet he's here. I find that so weird. It's not really... The game shoves in like a lot of characters Colors DS for reasons that don't really need to be there, which is weird. Another thing I should add about Silver is his special move. Of course, everyone knows Silver mostly for his telekinesis or psychokinesis, or however you kids want to say it nowadays. Mind abilities or whatever. Witchcraft, whatever. Silver's special move in this game is labeled as ESP. Now, for those of you who know a bit about the psychic abilities and such, ESP actually stands for Extrasensory Perception. Now, to my knowledge, my very limited knowledge of very psychic stuff, ESP doesn't mess with your motor controls in the slightest. How I see it, yes, perception. How I see it is basically it like gives you an extra sense, extrasensory perception. It kind of says right there, extra sense, sight beyond sight, that kind of thing. Yet in this game, for some reason, Silver uses ESP as, and right there, to scramble his rival's controls. That sounds just like basic, I don't know. I don't really know the word for it, but... Oh, an A rank. Well, that's surprising. Silver's confusion messed me up my game. That's how bad it was. I got an A rank because of that. I was so surprised he wasn't in the game. Even though I 100%ed the game. But back to Silver's weird power. That's basically, I don't know, simple mind control? You could easily label it as like psychokinesis, and it'll be fine. ESP sounds like a shortened, psychic-sounding name that doesn't fit, and Sega probably thought, what could I name his special power? What sounds like a psychic but short name? Psychokinesis? Nah, that sounds silly. How about ESP? Even though ESP doesn't even fit in this scenario, it's just, you know, ESP. Why not? Another thing I should add about Silver is actually a kind of funny thing. I kind of find it funny. Is that in 06, Silver and Blaze are always like labeled as like friends, as a couple, or however you kids want to say it nowadays. And for some reason, funnily enough, each of those characters have their own respective spin-off handheld games. Of course, everyone knows Blaze the Cat from the Sonic Rush games, Sonic Rush Adventure, stuff like that. Silver gets his own handheld, technically his own handheld game, because he's technically the main star of the game. In like later parts of the games, it'll be understood why he's like the main character of the game, or main star, or whatever. But he gets the Sonic Rivals game, Sonic Rivals 1, Sonic Rivals 2. Both games, he's like a major pivotal plot point, or pivotal character. So it's really funny how those two characters get their own little respective spin-off handheld games. Even though in my eyes, Blaze got the best end of the stick, because Rivals is very, in my eyes, as I've previously mentioned, probably. I also want to add, in this game, Silver has the ability to spin dash and homing attack and go fast. Where is that in 06? Where is the fast in 06? Silver. Silver was even going to get a power-up to make him go faster. That's how slow he was. He had to get a power-up to go faster. Just base walking speed. For some reason I was, like, taken out. Weirdly. I don't understand that. So, yeah. Silver. What's your deal, bro? Why are you so fast? Did, like, 06's Time Rewrite just, I don't know, teach you how to go fast? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm just outraged. Not really. I couldn't really care less, really. But I got an S rank, so, you know, maybe anger is my winning point. The angrier I get, the faster I go. I'm like a Hulk on roller skates. Oh no, I'm making a little Eggy Wiggy angry. Also, another instance where Silver is a jerk. Silver's always been like, you know, I'm gonna do things my way, everyone else can get out of my way. He's always been like that. It's always been annoying. Because he's just a jerk. I mean, here I am trying to talk to Eggman, and he just jumps in his Egg Falcon. Or what I would like to call the Baby Egg Hawk. Because for those of you who play Sonic Heroes, you cannot look at this thing and say Egg Falcon. Every time I see it, it's like instinctively, I call it the Egg Hawk. Not Baby Egg Hawk, just Egg Hawk, because the face is like exactly what the Egg Hawk is. You cannot say it's not. It's pretty bad. But basically for the boss fight here, just regular another boss fight, Circle Arena, just hit him in the head. The difference here though is the Egg Hawk, or Egg Falcon, however you kids want to call it nowadays, Egg Albatross, basically drops down 3 different kinds of bombs. He drops down with ice bombs, which, on the platforms. When he drops ice bombs and you land on the icy platforms, you become instantly frozen. The green bombs he drops, I guess you call it shrinkens the platforms. So it's kind of just more annoying to get on the platforms. The red bombs he drops, the fire bombs, sets the platforms on fire, so whenever you land on them, you take damage. And that's basically the boss fight, really. There's nothing more to that. The only slight challenge is just basically getting on the platforms in my eyes. Because otherwise, Silver's down there being a derp. And Eggman apparently has some kind of... How did Eggman get a bust up here? Also, why is the bust leaking water out of his nose? It's kind of gross. No, it's his mouth. Okay, never mind, it's his mouth. It's slipping through his teeth. It's fine, it's fine. It's not gross anymore. It's perfectly natural. And of course, just like every other boss fight, S-ranked. Of course, the only way to get an S-rank is just basically get over 30,000 points, and that's not really that hard. Just beat up your... Basically, you can get an S-rank in boss fights by beating up your opponent. Also, what the hell is about to happen right now? Silver, apparently, teleports me to a carnival in space, how it looks, with the ability that sounds a lot like a camera shutter going off. But at least we found Shadow, and everyone likes Shadow, right? 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 Well, too bad. We're gonna race him next time. So next time we meet, we're gonna be doing yet another rivalry race against Sonic vs. Shadow. In the, I'm gonna call it Space Carnival. So I will see you guys then. Bye-bye.